Every 2 seconds, somewhere in the world, somebody is forced out of their home by natural disaster, conflict, or violence. Some people, who we call refugees, are forced to move across national borders to seek safety in a country other than their own. Since 2014, almost 2 million migrants, mostly refugees, came to Europe, where their lives are relatively safe. But they live lives of dependency on social welfare and goodwill of charities and volunteers. To ensure that in Europe, refugees don't just survive, but thrive, integrating with their new host societies and contributing back to them, including by payment of taxes. We need to support refugees in learning the local language, accessing jobs, and accessing education, including higher education. Beyond the economic argument, access to higher education is a human right, and supporting refugee access is just the right thing to do. Yet out of 25.5 million refugees in the world, the UN estimates that less than 1% have access to higher education opportunities. Now, in Europe more narrowly, and in England and Poland specifically, we actually know very little about how many refugees go to our universities and what problems they may be facing. Before working out what we can do better in terms of policy and practice, I set out to collect statistical data to confirm that the numbers are indeed marginal. And I did. In England, there are a few thousand refugee students. In Poland, there are 33. Not thousands, just 33. Next, I've asked why. By looking at legal and policy documents and interviewing charity and university staff and the refugees themselves, I found that refugees are missing entirely from higher education policies, and higher education is missing entirely from refugee integration policies. In the lack of the top-down support, the role of universities and charities becomes crucial. But charities, because of limited resources, focus on the provisions of basic needs, access to housing, access to benefits. Some universities are starting to support refugee applicants and students, but they seem to have a very superficial grasp of the socioeconomic realities and the impact of going through the asylum application itself. I will leave you with just one example. In England, refugees who are still awaiting a decision on their application receive just over £5 a day to live on, less than half than what an unemployed citizen is entitled to. So to pay for a university application fee, like everyone else, between 18 and 26 pounds, as one of my participants said, you basically have to not eat for a certain number of days. Thank you.